Hari Om. Let's start with the prayer. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanora Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata Cha Pitattvameva Tvameva bandhusya sakhatvameva Tvameva vidya dravidam tvameva Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva Tvameva sarvam gurudeva deva. Hari Om. We are doing the Vedanta Sangraha of Sri Ramaraya Kavi. We just completed the chapter 11 and we'll be starting now chapter 12, which deals with Ananda Rupasya Nirupanam. That is essentially the determination of the Swarupa Nacharam of Ananda, happiness. So everyone is looking for happiness, and here the discussion about the happiness. Okay, let's start. Druk Rupaha Atma Swaprakashastvat Sarva Abhava Vasakatvat Cha Chit Rupaha. So we started the talk series with two aspects. One is Druk and Drusyam. Druk is the seer and Drusyam is the seen. So seer, seen or subject-object duality, and the subject is the seer, and the evaluation of who is the seer has gone through. And Kshetragyam Chapimam Viddhi Sarva Kshetreshu Bharata. I am the real seer, I am the real knower. Seer means the all knowledge that is taking place. I am the real knower behind. That was the topic that was discussed before. And now says that is same as Atma. So Druk Rupaha in the form of the seer, Atma Swaprakashatvat. And it is self-revealing, self-shining. That means it is light of all lights. Jyotir Jyotihi, Swayam Jyotihi. And it is lighted. Therefore, it is independent existence. So, anything else that you see depends upon the existence of Atma. In other words, the material that is inert, unconscious entities cannot declare their existence by themselves. So therefore, Anya Adhina Prakashatvam Tad Jadam. That whose the shining depends on something other than itself. But there are other side lights also. They are not. They don't need. You don't need another light to see those lights. But even those lights that you see outside, including the sun and the moon and everything else, they depend upon my seeing it, because I had to illumine their presence also. Because if I close my eyes and so on, the presence of sun is not there, at least for my reference. So I am this only subject in the world, and for everybody's reference, they are the only subject, Ekajiva Vada. And everything else is only objectifiable entities. And that depends upon whether I can see those objects or not. So objects can exist, but whether they exist or not, I had to confirm it. So my existence has to be there before I can establish the existence of something else. I am existing independent of whether something exists or not. So prakashatvam, so this is the self-existing is Sat Swarupam, and therefore it can be known by itself also, and therefore Atma Swaprakashatvat and Sarva Avabhasakatvat. Number one is Swaprakasham, and not only that, Sarva Avabhasakam, that it illumines everything else also. How can I illumine everything? Because everything has to be perceived and known through me. Otherwise, it is indeterminate problem. Whether an object, a chair exists or not, unless I see it, I cannot say it exists or not. It may exist, it may not exist. Oh, other people have seen it, but other people also consciousness entities, and besides that, how do I know that other people have seen? And oh, they tell me. So in other words, I am getting the knowledge from the other people who see that existence of that. So whether the chair exists or not depends upon how much faith I have in the words of other people. And therefore, it is again, I should know, I should believe or know that what they are saying is true. So it is an indirect knowledge, that is essentially the Shabda Pramanam. But I had to be there to at least recognize what they are saying. Without me, they can talk something, but I have no idea whether the chair is there or not, even though whether they have seen it or not. This is what famous Schrodinger's cat problem. So Schrodinger's cat problem is that equations are developed to solve a problem. What is the problem? They put a cat inside a radiation chamber and then radiated and allowed the radiation. And now after radiation is over, the question was posed, is the cat alive or dead? Now the question cannot be found. If you solve the equations, all they can get is the probability of the cat, whether it's alive or dead, is only 50%. It may be alive, it can, because there are only two choices. But it's not half alive and half dead. Either it's dead or it is alive. So, but from the point of equations can only tell you if the probability is 50%. Only way to make sure, to ensure to know whether the cat is alive or not, I have to open the chamber and look at it to see whether the cat is alive or not. So the 50% probability shifts to 100% one way or other, if the cat is alive or no. Yes, cat is alive. No, cat is not alive. So either way, the probability becomes the deterministic problem once a conscious entity enters into the picture. That is, either I have to be there, someone has to be there to make sure to decide whether the cat is really dead or alive. And therefore, without the presence of conscious entity, that it's only left as a probabilities, it's not a deterministic problem. It becomes a deterministic problem only when a conscious entity enters into picture. So another fellow by name Wagner, he says, I'll solve this problem. So he put another fellow also into the chamber, and inside the chamber, of course, he didn't radiate the fellow, but the cat is radiated, and the fellow who is in that room could check and find out whether the cat is alive or not. So therefore he knows whether cat is alive one way or the other. For him it is deterministic, but for me it is still a probability problem only, because how do I know whether he knows or not? Whether even if he knows, I don't know. So from my point it is still probability only. So I have to come into picture to establish the existence or the non-existence of the whole world. Therefore, sarva avabhasakatvat. That means I had to illumine means it should be in my consciousness for me to know that an object exists or not. Until then, the existence of an object cannot be established. So, sarva avabhasakam, it illumines means one becomes conscious of the whole object or the whole world itself. So, drukrupaha atma swaprakashatvat sarva avabhasakatvat cha iti chitrupaha. Therefore, the druk is, the seer is of the nature of consciousness, and consciousness is prajnanam brahma, is infinite, and infinite means aham brahmasmi, that atma is brahmasmi, is the nature of the reality. So here is established that atma is chit swarupam, and this is what the sloka in is chanted before, that in the Arati, the Vedic Arati, na tatra suryo vati na chandra tarakam nema vidyuto bhanti kutoya magnihi ameva bhanta manubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. So in the Arati saying, it says, I don't need the sunlight, I don't need the moonlight, I don't need a star's light, I don't need electricity light for me to see you. Because he's showing the Arati itself. At the same time, he says, how can this Arati can illumine you? Because you are the light of all lights and lights the whole world. That means you are the consciousness, and I am that conscious entity. Therefore, Chitrupaha. Sarvanasha avaditvat, sarvakalpana avadishtanatvat cha satrupaha. So he is establishing that Atma is Satchit Ananda Swarupaha. And first statement establishes the Chitrupaha. That means it's the nature of the consciousness, because everything is in my consciousness. Now he is establishing the Satrupaha. Sarvanasha avaditvat. So of destruction of everything that I can see is ultimately ends up with the Sat aspect of it. And Sarva Kalpana Avadishtanatvat, and also the creation in the universe again goes back to that Sat only. That means existence alone, because something has to exist means that this is a Sat is supporting it. And non-existence cannot come into existence, and existence cannot cease to be non-existence. Therefore, this is the ultimate. You may change one form of existence to another form of existence. Only form can change, nama rupam can change, but the substantive cannot change. That's why the world itself is Jagat. Jagat means Jayate, Gacchate, it is Jagat. That which comes and goes, or that which continuously changing. If continuously changing, law of conservation demands that there has to be a changeless substratum for the changing world. Because that's the law. A plus B becoming into C plus D, there has to be law of conservation that remains the same across the board, and that's what is the law of matter, or that's what balancing equations means in the chemistry. What balancing means? The amount here has to be equal to amount there, the law of conservation. And energy is conserved, matter is conserved across the changes that is occurring. But this only, science talks about only man, the changes in the mass or the matter and the energy. Matter can neither be created nor destroyed. That's what we learned in the first class in the chemistry also. But here it says Sat cannot be created, Sat cannot be destroyed. That's what you study in the first class of Vedanta. It is Tadeva Saumya Idamagram Asid Ekameva Advitiyam. So existence alone was there before creation. And before that, what was there before? It says before the existence, what was there? And one fellow said, before the existence, non-existence was there. So that's also in the Upanishad also. So Tadeka Ahuhu Asateva Idamagram Asid. Some people say non-existence was there, and then from there existence came into picture. So when non-existence was there, there's a contradiction in terms, because non-existence was existing before. That means there was an existence. So existence alone was there. And then it is Ekameva Advitiyam, one without a second, and that's what he's going to talk about later in the next chapter about Sajati Vijati Swagada Veda Rahitam. So existence cannot cease to exist, and that's what Krishna says in the second chapter of Gita. He provides the absolute law of conservation. This is the greatness of our Vedanta. So you are only talking about matter and energy, but here talking about the absolute law of conservation. Nasato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sataha. That which exists can never cease to exist. That which is non-existent can never come into existence. And that's essentially law of conservation of the existence itself. and that is a fundamental law. Any other law is only depends on that only. So here, that's what being said here. Sarvanasha avaditva. This is the ultimate limit. You may destroy this to something else and destroy it to something else, because it can never disappear in one form or another, because the existence has to be there and it exists in some form or other, and that's what essentially is ultimately none. What about in the dream state or deep sleep state? And he's going to tell later in this chapter, says even though the world itself disappears, then what happened to that? It disappears into what? Into me only. So it goes back, it comes from me, it raises sustained by me, it goes back into me. And I am the very existent consciousness entity. That's what essentially Chit Swarupam and Sat Swarupam. Sarvanasa avaditatva. So it is the ultimate limit for anything existing. And Sarva Kalpana avadishtatva. And it is the basis for the creation of everything. Oh, I'm going to create this. Out of what? Out of something that is already existing. So you cannot bring non-existing and then create something out of it. You may create one form of existence into another form of existence. Ultimately, existence alone. You may say a wooden form of existence is converted into chair form of existence, or gold form of existence is converted into rings and a bangle and a necklace. So you cannot create a new existence out of something, nothing. You can convert one matter into another matter, and that's what happens when you atomic bomb or something, you are converting something into something else and some into energy also, and the hydrogen molecules into helium molecules. But matter is conserved, and rest of the matter that disappeared forms in the form of energy only. So it is essentially Sarva Kalpana Avadhi. Avadhi is the limit for every creation also, and therefore Avadhishthanatvad cha Satrupaha. Therefore everything comes from Atma. How has that Atma has to do with this? Because I am the waker, I am the dreamer, I am the deep sleeper, and in the 7th mantra of Mandukya it says Nanta pragyam na bhai pragyam no bhayata pragyam. In that say prapanchopasham, the whole world goes into me, and they come from me, they goes into me. So I am the ultimate sarvanasa avaditvad. So I am from which the whole universe came. I am the whole universe goes back. So the creation and the laya, dissolution, all occurring in my platform of Atma. So it is a Chit Swarupam, and therefore it's Sat Swarupam. And Chit Swarupam has to exist also. So the existence of the consciousness which is infinite also means this Chit also infinite, and there are not two attributes of the Atma, they are the very Swarupa aspect of it. Intrinsic nature of that is what is being discussed here. And now, so we have established the Chit and then Sat, and the next he says Parama Premaspadatvat Sarva Dukkha Rahitatvacha Ananda Rupaha. So here he puts, it's also of the nature of Ananda. Why is Ananda? He says Parama Premaspadatvat. It is the most lovable thing in the whole universe, Atma. So you like yourself more than anything else. So I like something only because it gives me happiness. That is a fundamental law. If it gives me pain in the neck, then obviously I will try to avoid it, so I don't like it. So whatever I like is what is the source of happiness only I like. And the source, if it may be painful, but there are people who get pleasure out of those pains also, called sadistic pleasures, and for them it is a happiness only. So whatever I do is because of it gives me happiness. And even if I try to cry, because it gives me happiness ultimately. So there's a question if people even commit suicide, and they don't want to live anymore only because he wants to be happy. Then why is he covering? Because he thinks that life is miserable, and by ending that life he is going to be happy. So what looking for is only happiness. So ultimately that's what is the goal of life itself is happiness. And Parama Premaspadam Yatva. So the Atma is the source of all happiness. Parama Prema, supreme happiness, not just any happiness. It is a Parama Prema, the supreme happiness and supreme love for your own self. You love yourself more than you love anything else. This is what the theme of Maitreyi Brahmana, where the husband talks about to the wife, Maitreyi, Are Maitreyi, Atmanastu Kamaya Sarvam Priyam Bhavati. It is the essence of his husband doesn't love the wife. What he loves is himself. Wife doesn't love her husband. Wife loves only her happiness. By loving her husband, she is happy. What she loves is only happiness, not the husband per se. The same husband gives a lot of problems, you know what happens. So anyway, Parama Premaspadam Yatva, Sarva Dukkha Rahitatvat. And also it is the end of all miseries also. Sarva Dukkham, that means self is the end of all Rahitam, without any suffering further. So Sarva Dukkha Rahitam Cha Ananda Rupaha. Therefore it is a nature of Ananda. Atma is of the nature of Ananda. So I try to avoid Dukkham for the happiness. I try to go after Sukham for the sake of happiness. What I am looking for is happiness, and I am searching in a different route way only. Tatra Satchit Rupatve Varnate. Therefore, it is described as Sat and Chit Rupatve Varnate. Atha Ananda Rupatvam Varnayamam. So far we discussed Atma as Satswarupam and Chitswarupam. That's what we have discussed. Now we are going to discuss it is Ananda Swarupam also. So here the Atha Ananda Rupatvam Varnayamaha. We are going to describe the nature of Ananda of the Atma. Number 2. Atmani sarva dukkha rahityam sushuptyadishu pratyaksham. So here he gives the example of the sushupti, that means the deep sleep state. So Atmani sarva dukkha rahityam, to end all the sufferings into the self, and sushuptyadishu pratyaksham. A direct evidence is that people want to go to sleep. Why do you want to go to sleep? To end all the suffering. So sarva dukkha rahityam, to eliminate the all suffering in the Atmani, into one own self, people want to go to sleep. So what do we get in the sleep? I go to myself. That's what it is. That's what he's trying to conclude now. Because the self is the Ananda, locus of or the source of happiness. Therefore, I want to go back to my happiness, where to get rid of all other dependence on anything other than myself. Therefore, because in the deep sleep experience is a direct evidence that nature has provided for everyone to feel the happiness that one is happy by oneself as oneself. Everything else is only the transactional happiness, but this is where I merge to myself the dissolution of the whole world, so that I am going back to my own self. Atmani sarva dukkha rahityam. Sarva dukkha means there is no duality in the deep sleep state, and any duality causes unhappiness. So that's why in the scripture says, Udara mantaram kurute atatasya bhayam bhavati, or dvitiyadyo bhayam bhavati. The fear and the fear of the second always gives the duality, and there is no duality experienced in the deep sleep state that provides you direct evidence that Advaita alone is a happy state. And scripture states that any duality causes a problem. So Atmani sarva dukkha rahityam sushuptyadishu pratyaksham andahasan anando bhavati ityadi shruti siddhancha. So here it gives an example of andahasan. Even though one is blind, anando bhavati, one is no more blind in the deep sleep state. So what it says, even if a born blind person says, I cannot see anything. So I cannot see anything. Why? Because I am born blind. Then somebody asks, how do you know you are blind? How do I know I am blind? That I can see, that I cannot see. So I can see that I cannot see. That is essentially andahasan anando bhavati. From the point of consciousness that I am, is I am never a blind. I can see my equipments are not functioning to see, that I can see. Therefore, since I can see, I cannot be blind. So andahasan anando bhavati ityadi shruti siddhancha. This is what is established by the Shruti also. And this is what we told in the example of darkness. When I am sitting in the pitch darkness, you ask the question, it says, is there any object there? I says, I cannot see. Why? Because it's too dark for me to see. Then it says, do you know, can you see darkness? Now what? I don't have light to see any objects, but do I need a light to see the darkness? Of course I can see. You just now said it's dark. I can see that I cannot see. That is darkness. Therefore, I can, this andaha, san, anando bhavati. Ityadi shruti siddham cha. Atmanaha sarvam pratiseshitvat parama premaspadam tva. So atmanaha sarva pratiseshitva. So ultimately when I go to deep sleep state, everything back merges into me. And that's what the Mandukya said, the prapanchopashamam shantam advaitam chaturtham manyante sa atma sa vijñeha. So nanta pragyam na bhai pragyam no bhayata pragyam na pragyana ghanam na pragyam na pragyam adrushtam avyavaharyam agrahyam. And then it says that ekatma pratyasaram and the prapanchopashamam shantam shivam advaitam chaturtham manyante sa atma sa vijñeya. That is atma. So that's what is it? Is atmana sarvam pratiseshitvat parama prema. So all things dissolve back into me, and therefore he says parama premaspadam padatvam, and everything ultimately is for my sake. Therefore it is a source of most the happiness. Everything else depends upon my likes and dislikes, but I like myself absolutely because I love myself absolutely. In the Panchadasi, which of course Sri Ramaraya Kavi went through that book only, he got convinced about Advaita. He says, Ayam Atma Paranandaha Parapremaspadam Yataha Mana Bhuvam Hi Bhuyasam Iti Prematmanuchyate. So there it says in the sloka, Ayam Atma Paranandaha. It is the supreme, this Atma is of the supreme happiness, and Parama Premaspadam Yataha. It is of the ones most you like the most. So what is the list in the most you like? Yourself. Because everything else you like for your sake, and you like yourself for whose sake? For your sake only. So I love this, I love this, I love this, and the same thing which I love, now it become a pain in the neck. I don't love this anymore. But whereas I love myself because, there is no because. For everything else there is a because. I love other one because they give me happiness. I love myself because I love myself, period. That's called Parama Premaspadam. So, I am Atma Parananda. It is of the supreme reality Therefore, I love myself. I like myself, and even if people, the children say, I hate myself, only because they are complaining something they didn't have it. So if they have it, again they love themselves. They love so much themselves that they hate themselves also. Why? Because what they want is they have some goal which they don't have it, because they are born in particular form or particular thing that which have no control on. That's why you say, I hate myself. What they hate is only particular the equipments or situations and so on. What they love is themselves so much that they don't want those. If you change the circumstances, they love, of course. Only because what they're hating is the circumstances that contributes to suffering, because they want happiness and they are the source of happiness. So, I am Atma Parananda. It is of the nature of supreme happiness, and Parama Premaspadam Yataha. It is of the nature of supreme love, and he says in the Panchadasi, Mana Bhuham Mi Bhuyasam. So how do you know that you love yourself? Because I never want to seize myself. That is the expression. Is in fact, nobody wants to seize himself. That is, he doesn't want to end himself even one more day. Even in the deathbed, if Yamadharmaraju comes, go, let's go, you have been asking me to come, I came at last. Say, oh no, one more day. I want to see my great daughter getting married also. Then I will come. He doesn't want to go. So because he loves himself. So he doesn't want to see this, the non-existence of himself. That's what is Mana Bhuvam Bhuyasam. We'll come back and continue this chapter. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.